I now would like to take the opportunity to bring all of the people who are speaking tonight up to the podium. We're going to do a candle ceremony. Thank you guys again so much for being here. It honestly is incredibly surreal to be standing up here. When I was asked to write a speech, I didn't really know what to say, like how do I begin to articulate what Maria meant to me. As I mentioned at the very beginning, Maria did sponsor me for 10 of the 11 years that I have been clean. She was an incredibly important person to me. She taught me how to be free. She was one of my most profound guides, my mentor, and in so many ways, my mother in spirit. In the last couple of months, I have learned so much about her, beyond the years that I actually knew her. As I built all of the components of this video, like each day I was flooded with images and stories and testimonials of years long before I knew her. And this past week, when I released the video into the hands of our tech person, Erin, thank you again for being here, I felt this incredible wave of grief, like I wasn't going to get to see her every day anymore. But then I remembered what Maria taught me, that life was to be celebrated. I remember the last weeks of her life, me and so many others would visit her at her home, and I just got to be with her, and just the simplicity of being with her with nothing actually to do in particular, which was something she was always trying to reel me in. I was the queen of doing something all the time, and I was reminded of the importance of that stillness. And in those moments were honestly some of the best memories I ever had with Maria. We had a lot of amazing conversations, and she wasn't scared to answer the hard questions. In fact, she asked me to ask them. And so I asked her how she was feeling and if she felt that she was at peace. And she told me that she knew that she was completing her assignment here and that she would soon return for her freedom. I thought that was incredibly courageous to share that with me out loud. She told me that she no longer felt, the reason she felt free is because she no longer felt that she had this responsibility to do anything with the space that she was taking up in the world, that she was done, that her work here was done. Maria had so many wonderful quotes and pearls of wisdom that she shared with me. And I kept them in a journal, and many of them I embedded in the video that you saw. Her words weren't just advice, they were roadmaps. She didn't just tell me how to live a better life, she showed me how to lead one. Maria championed me and my work and always celebrated my art and my sensibilities. I understand the world mostly through metaphors, and she knew how to nurture that understanding. I think my sponsorship family and I had that in common. Each month, my sponsorship family, Maria and myself, we would all meet, and in the month that she passed, we had already planned a meeting, so my sponsee sisters and I, we got together kind of as like a goodbye to our sponsee sisterhood. And it was a really hard meeting at first, but then something beautiful happened. It was like Maria was with us in that moment because she always brought levity to all of these meetings, even if we were doing deep step work. And my sponsee sister, Kathy, who's unable to be with us tonight, had come up with a suggestion in that meeting that we should all go around the room and think of whatever the most profound thing that Maria had ever said to us, the most like resonating message that really stuck with us, and we should all get it tattooed on our bodies. And when it got to me, I kind of froze because I was like, well, the most profound thing that Maria ever said to me was, Renee, you have to stop missing opportunities to keep your mouth shut. I thought that would be a really weird tattoo. But I loved that moment because Maria didn't want us to be sad. I felt like she trickled into that experience, you know, to remind us that this is what we do, is we impart wisdom and we leave a footprint behind. I did not tattoo that quote on my body, but I do take her wisdom with me for sure. Her legacy lives in every life that she touched, every act of kindness that she inspired, and every piece of insight that she shared. She may no longer be here in body, but she is very much here in the way we show up for each other, in the way that we rise after we fall, and in the way that we love unapologetically. To my sponsor, my second mother, and my eternal guide, thank you for loving me, for leading me, and for showing me what it truly means to live. I hope to carry your torch with the same strength and dignity that you carried it with. Rest in peace, my sweet Maria, knowing your light will never go out. Thank you, guys. One of the things Maria taught me was that sharing part of sharing is sharing the time. So I would like to bring up our next speaker, Dennis Holt.
Amazing day. Amazing job. Thank you. I'm kind of overwhelmed. George Jessel said that mind is a wonderful thing. It starts when you're born and it never stops until you have to get up to speak. What I had prepared tonight doesn't make sense anymore. All I can tell you is we were together for 33 and a half years. I talked to Maria every day for the 33 and a half years. Not one day missed. Christmas, whatever, the holiday, every day. And I called her the last day before she died. She did not take my call. I left a message that I loved her, was praying for her. And she passed this day. She was, the first week that she worked for me, she said, I want to take your mother to lunch. I said, what? She said, I want to take your mother to lunch. Because she'll tell me the truth about you. Okay. Take her to lunch. She took her to lunch. And the next day, I said, what did you learn? And she said, yeah, less bullshit than I thought. And she was a Brooklyn girl with a Brooklyn mouth. She never had a problem with the F word. We went to church or something. So, and she had all kinds of sayings and things. One of the things my mother told her was that if I ever complained, she would make me take a piece of paper and pencil and write down all my blessings, and then speak them out the next, talk about it. One of the things she learned was my mother created what she calls the book of never. And never feel sorry for yourself. Never believe you can't do it. Never make enemies. Never carry a grudge. Never be jealous of someone else's success. Never miss a day to tell a loved one that you love them, and they don't. She was amazing. And one of the things that she had a saying. Things that she did every day. She worried about her children. She worried about the feral cats and dogs. She was extremely charitable, extremely loyal to her friends and neighbors. And she had a broken mouth, as I told her, but she knew all my secrets. And she said to me that if it weren't for Maria and my wife, I'd be at assisted living. And she would make all kinds of comments like that. Anyway, I wanna, this is an amazing program, I was just overwhelmed by what I prepared, as I say, doesn't make sense, but I did talk to her every day for 33 years and a few months. And I miss her big time. There are days where I start to call her. I'm bad. Because we do something every day, it's sad. And I look around the room and I see her everywhere. Thank you. This is that, it's amazing.
First, to Dennis and Brooks. You, my dears, are a disappearing treasure company that utilizes the term family and we means it. Thank you, not only for being Maria's boss, but for being her family. In Italian, la famiglia. So, our earthly, extravagant, and cherished. Enough about me. Let's talk about Maria. I aspire to say my Marie, but I know that's not so. She has been ours to several, too many to count. And although I innately want to bask in my soul that I alone was extraordinarily special to our Maria. My Maria, I know many of us felt the same exact way. She had that intrinsic skill. Maria had the capacity to make so many of us, the downtrodden, the elite, the conservative, the liberal, the admired, the lost. She made us feel special, heard, seen, and yes. We gather today to celebrate a life, but she is no longer physically here. So to mourn a death, but she's still alive within us. So what is this gathering for? I have to answer that one for myself. The ritual of celebration, the ritual of lifting up the spirit. Maria doesn't need our help now. She needed it her whole life, and she gave it to so many of us unconditionally. So today, I we just do. When Maria and I would talk about spirituality or spiritual principles, yes, we had this conversation. I would remind her that she didn't begin this journey when she entered a fellowship so many of us knew her from. I reminded her that she had been on that journey the day she left Brooklyn, the days before when she was internally consistently lost. I would remind her of the head start she had experienced in regard to her spiritual path. And because of that path she took, so many of us reap the benefits of her existence. Our Maria, my Maria. Maria honored me with her laughter, and my responsibility was to make her laugh every day and every night for years, 22 to be exact. See, I would FaceTime Maria in the morning while she was at work, and she'd be afraid to answer. She knew I may be naked on the toilet or just standing there showing her my perfectly shaped boobies. It would make my day to see her laugh and to see her be shocked. Doris asked Maria before she died if she had any concerns about any pictures on her phone. And Maria said only of Rosalyne. How I miss that laugh. And how I miss those opportunities to connect to our Maria. My Maria. You see, I've worn and hid under many hats in my life, and the hats I've worn in life, in my personal and professional life, have challenged me and my aggregate existence. I've been given the opportunity to serve others clinically, emotionally, psychologically, through many areas, including but not limited to hospice care. I know all the answers for you, the inhabitants, my patients and their families. Yet with this death, our Maria, my Maria, I'm definitely in harm's way. On a deep self-judgment level, I believe I am self-absorbed. I'm a taker. I'm failed, and I'm very defensive. But with Maria, as I watched her life of giving, of supporting, of loving generously, of spirit and space, utilizing the simplicity of kind engagement, I own that responsibility to be of service to her and her eclectic tribes during the holiday season, to continuously grow as a friend over these past 22 years. And to be there the last 9 months of her life, like I've never been there for another human being that didn't include a W-2 or a 1099. I served her challenging my capacity, not only because I watched her do it for countless others, for her friends, for the company she worked with for over 33 years, to the lost animals roaming the streets and the dark garden shelters, as well as for foe alike. I was there for her, for me. The last night I spent with her was the beginning of her earthly completion. I was honored to literally lift her up at many moments during the night and tell her to put her arms around my neck. And I whispered, God, I love you. I love you. And she said back, if I didn't know her before, I know her now, and I trust you. Maria was ours. Yet, in the deepest place within what is left of my spiritual energy, Maria was mine. We got each other. We be bros from Brooklyn, New York, and we spoke the same language. So different, yet so much the same. Maria, conservative, autonomous, religious, quiet, simple, and unspoken. Me, the complete opposite. Though our political and religious values differed, we didn't love each other in spite of that. It didn't fucking matter. That is the gift of friendship, of la familia. So now, my final cheerleader has gone to a place we all may go. My only hope for me is when I'm dead, I'm just dead. My social media, my pictures, my legacy may live on, but I hope all the rest is just dead, that's right. But with people like Maria, we want, the world needs people like her to live on in my heart, our hearts and soul, for she has been the nourisher of our spirits. I stand today and many days since December of 2023, when she first got diagnosed, broken, but to say, thank you, Maria, for the gift of you, the gift of presence, the gift of friendship, the gift of love familia. You are bring up beautiful daughter, all her daughters are beautiful. See that.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. A special thank you to those who helped put this beautiful memorial together. And a very special thank you to those who were with her during her last days here on earth. It's a true testament to how much she meant to each and every one of us. I see so many familiar faces, but for those who don't know me, I'm Sita, Maria's eldest and favorite daughter. But don't tell my sister. No one or nothing can ever prepare you for a loss like this. I thought that woman was gonna live forever. I never imagined having to endure this type of heartbreak. Sometimes we have to be just a little delusional to get by. It wasn't until today that I could finally sit down and write what I wanted to say, because every time I started, the tears would always appear. But as she would say, sweetheart, you just gotta get it done. Mama Maria used to tell us often, you know, girls, I don't know where I would be if it weren't for you two. The truth is, I know exactly where I'd be if it weren't for her. She would tell us often we changed her life, but the truth is, she saved ours. When she entered our lives, my sister and I were at such a fragile stage. I was about 6, and my sister was about 5. We were being stripped away from our biological mother, and overnight our lives were changed forever. Suddenly, here was this woman we had just met, and we were supposed to call her mother. Oh, the despair. You can imagine how confusing and difficult that was for 2 little girls. But one thing about Mama Maria, she never, ever tried to replace our biological mom. She just simply became our mom. I'll never forget the day, some time after her and my dad's divorce was finalized, when she took us out for breakfast. She sat us down, trying to sweeten the moment with some waffles and pancakes, and told us she didn't think we should call her mom anymore. Oh, here we go again with the despair. My sister and I cried, confused and devastated. But after all the fuss, we decided on that day that some advice, like always listen to your mother, just wasn't for us. From driving me to the hospital for my first broken bone, to driving me to the hospital for my firstborn, she was always there. She was and will always be our Mama Maria. I'd like to end this with a short poem dedicated to her. To my Mama Maria. You came into our lives not by fate or blood, but through a journey few would have understood. A heart not bound by ties of kin, yet open wide to let us in. You did not have to stay or care, but you built a home where love could share. Through every tear and every fight, you held on strong, you made it right. Unconditional, that love you still give, a quiet strength that helps me live. No strings, no terms, no price to pay. Just warmth that grows with every day. You stepped into shoes you didn't choose, to guide and nurture, win or lose. Not replacing, but adding more to the family we once had before. Stepmom, never fit you quite right. You were my guide, my spark, my name. With wisdom, humor, and a knowing grin, you made this house a home within. You made us laugh, you made us think, and saved us often on life's brink. Your love was steady, your spirit free, a gift so rare, like finding flies at the bottom of the bag for you. With patience and deep arms, always open, you taught me grace and became my safe space. Through whispered fears and dreams untold, your love has been my lasting hold. It's not the blood that makes us whole, but the kindness poured into a soul. And in your love, I've come to see the Mother God has chosen you to be. Now you're a memory, warm and bright, a feeling that echoes in the night. I'll hold your laughter, your love, your care, forever grateful you were there. So here's to you, our Mama Maria, a steady presence, forever calm. You earned your stripes, you passed God's test, and now you rest. My heart's best guest, forever, your daughter, your girl, Sita. And I would like to bring up Jonathan next. Thank you.
Hello, I am Jonathan, and I'm gonna follow in Sita's footsteps. I decided to also write a poem, Ode, which is a praise of someone, and it is entitled Ode to Maria. Maria, beautiful and silver haired, I dare to be secluded as a newcomer. She invited me to see Pavarotti. Bought seats, how sweet to be, future friends. The first of many times of bliss with Maria DiAngelis. Kenny Chesney was next. What a day. Is he gay? We laughed and gasped. I did my best to keep up with her energy, the synergy she created with all she knew. The amount of love she gave, she received, and believed between sweep of deep relationships were primed and stood the test of time. The opera with Robert, Pantages with your friends, Palm Springs with Susan, Marty, and Kim. There seemed no end to these wonderful events. Rosalyne, Joyce, and Frankie, swanky restaurants we dined, and mined nuggets of conversation, anticipation of future destinations, celebrations with those who passed, Dan and Bruce and Dr. Mark, yet she was the spark that fanned the flame. Never to be the same. We worshiped and sang together, lifting our hands to praise God with Susan and Vicky and Diane. We rejoiced as one baptized and harmonized, our voices in sync, the link to special moments few knew, imbued by Maria's joy of life. Oh, strife knocked on her door, as it does for us all, but Maria stood tall. No wall she could not climb, adversity withered in her hands, diversity like grains of sand. She accepted the true and faint of heart, encouraging, never discouraging, always nourishing, generous with her time and home. She set the tone for Thanksgiving and Christmas, birthdays and anniversaries, 4th of July, always hosting, never boasting. Her love never diluted by pettiness of differences or opinions, and if you were part of her crew, you knew that politics were taboo. Animals were her Achilles heel. To feel the love for her senior pups, she never shied from the discarded and was rewarded with utter devotion. For those she saved and paved the way for a few more years, knowing they would not last, and yet when they passed, she adopted another, and became a mother all over again. She loved her family, her daughters and grandchildren, nieces and nephews, and of course Bill, yet still took care of her mother, who was a challenge, which Maria balanced with love, devotion, and prayer, another layer added to Maria's tapestry of life. As a sponsor, she shined and did her best. In her quest to stay clean and serene, so many facets that made her queen. Oh, she would deny that title, as she knew how vital to not be on a pedestal, as we are all equitable. She knew she was in this world to serve, not reserve silly claims of fame or renown. She humbly accepted compliments, no false humility, but civility, reliability, sensitivity, the ability to stand on conviction, not waver on her belief, and the relief of knowing she accepted you for you and me for me without reputation. Her reputation based on changing, exchanging, explaining her views, not to convince or in defense, but to reveal her true self. That was Maria's beauty. She knew never her duty to change or rearrange anyone's beliefs. Hers were hers, mine were mine, yours were yours, the cures for understandings. She knew to allow, not disavow, others' views, but to embrace our differences. She knew a hug, not a shrug, was where her power sat. The power that encompasses love, not hate, participate in discussions or to be silent, reliant, knowing that kindness resolves, but discord dissolves. She loved her work and all the perks, yet as told and she pushed her symbiosis created a diagnosis of a team that endured 30 years. Their friendship encased trust and respect that never could be replaced. When I was ill, she was there to bear my pain. And when I relapsed and collapsed into addiction, her conviction never wavered, no blame or shame. Just comfort and love, believing in me when I couldn't see the man she knew I could be. When my heart was heavy, she sat by my side as I cried, meeting her magic of support. She shared and dared to open herself to those she cherished. Her inclusiveness, her intuitiveness, her honoring pride, her heart open wide, she became what she claimed. Life in serving was life deserving. She walked the talk and never balked at what she believed to be her purpose and truth. The 12-step journey, God's mercy, her guide, a life never redundant, but abundant with joy. And oh boy, did she live to the max, never lax in living one day at a time. And now we, her family and friends, who she touched with gifts she gave, we engrave her memory in our hearts and minds as she shines as bright as ever. And we endeavor to bind her legacy and breathe each day the Maria way with a modicum of grace and replace ego with kindness, a blindness to the physical, with an uncritical eye and defy judgment as we accept the things we cannot change. Maria, oh Maria, you are truly missed. And what more can I say not in this list of lives you touched, the hearts you brushed, the palette of love? So on the wings of the proverbial dove, soar above, knowing, my friend, we rejoice in the choice to lift our voice to the memory of you, Maria DiAngelis. And I'm not sure who it's after me, so, oh, thank you.
Hi, everybody. It's wonderful to see you all. I met Maria about 23 years ago, and when I was newly clean, my first sponsor moved to New York. Maria was always at the BHS meetings on Saturday and Sunday, always welcoming and warm and loving. She seemed really happy, and I said to myself, I want what she has. So I asked her to be my sponsor. I too wrote a note to Maria. And those of you who know me know that I'm not very verbose, so it's not very long, but it is succinct. My Maria. She had a radiance that's all of them, sat in front and made herself known. She said yes when I replied her, always available, rarely tired. She bloomed with courage and with grace. She let me grow at my own pace. What's the solution, she would say, and what's your part anyway? We did many things in 21 years, lots of laughter, lots of tears. She was as loyal could be, especially to her company, her family, NA, and me. She could be trusted through and through. Gossip? No, she wouldn't do. She called me Cinderella, but didn't treat me like the Eden stepmother did. Heaven forbid. She stressed the power of prayer and meditation. On that, she marked a special occasion. She loved her animals, bought a house she was proud of, opened it up to many with love. Her life was full. She liked country music, opera too, agape church, Fantasias, the Holy Ball, hiking, and other adventures along the way. We've said goodbye to so many, Sam, Ron, Chuck, Wolfie, Bruce, Frankie, Joyce, and Ray, to name a few. Now we say goodbye to her today. She will always be in my, I love you.
Hi, Marty. I took this picture of Maria May of last year. We went hiking up to the Hollywood sign. And I knew it was gonna be a special picture. This, I had it put into a poster size. Thank you, Amy, where we were at, for doing that. Thank you. And I brought it home and I put it away. And a few days later, my friend Karen came over and I wanted to show her the picture, the frame, and the poster. And I wanted to see her reaction, but the reaction was from marriage. Her dog, my dog. He just looked at the picture, and looked at me, and then just went back and forth. And he was doing this, it was really incredible. And I said, "That's your mommy. That's your mommy." It was really touching to see that. I met Maria 26 years ago at my home group in Hollywood. It's still my home group on Sunday nights. Our relationship started to grow. We actually, back in those days, we had breaks, smoke, and we get some return more often. And she invited me a few times and a couple other people to her place on Genesee for the holidays. And I got to meet her mother. And some years later, she bought a house, her first house in Venice. And of course, we were all happy for her. She was very proud. It's your first house. I mean, it's an incredible accomplishment. So she started this tradition to have her household for the holidays. And anyone was welcome. Christmas, Thanksgiving, and sometimes the 4th of July. That's the generosity Maria was. And it was just a tradition. And then last December, we got the bad news that she has this liver cancer. And at first I thought, we can do this. I didn't realize how hard it is. So a few weeks later, on December the 29th of this last year, my little Sydney, my little dachshund, started to get very sick all of a sudden with congestive heart failure. And he couldn't breathe, he was coughing a lot, and I panicked. And I rushed into the urgent care, and they told me that his chances are real slim. And I knew I had to put him down. If you're a pet owner, you know how heartbreaking that was. That is to do that. And in this fellowship that we belong to, NA also means never alone. And The only person I could think of calling at that moment was Maria. Because I had to put my dog down. And she answered the phone and she says, honey, I can't come. I said, I don't need you to be here. I just need you to be with me on the phone right now. And so for the next 30 minutes, she stayed with me until the very end. We were both bawling and then it was over. So next month, January this year, I took her to see her first oncologist. Her appointment at UCLA. No, UCLA? Yeah. And on the way over, she was telling me, as her executor at the time, these are my wishes. This is what I want. And all of a sudden, it dawned on me, oh my God, this might really happen. And I was really trying to refrain from crying, but I was whimpering. I was definitely whimpering. But she didn't say anything, and I just held it back, but I couldn't. I was, And on the way back, after she got diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer, she said to me in her solemn, sarcastic Brooklyn accent, I'm glad I was there to comfort you during my challenging times. That's Maria. She just wanted to make something light, something that's so heavy. You know, in May of this year, she was the speaker of my home group, and before the meeting started, she said to me, "Can I talk to you outside for a minute?" I thought, oh shit, what did I do? This is a confrontation. I hate confrontations. She said to me, with puppy eyes, if something happens to me, you take care of Mary. And I only thought about it. Sydney died. And I said, yes. Her eyes welled up. She just had this huge sense of relief. Because we're both dog people, you know. Merrick is very happy. He snuggles with me at nighttime. He follows me all over the place. So, and then the day came, September 20th, we got the word that Maria was going down real quickly. So Kim and I rushed over to see her, and we walked in. She's on oxygen, obviously, but she's doing that death breathing. She's brave. She's gurgling. She's in her hospital bed, and I have been working with patients like that for 40 years. You're my patients, but when it becomes a loved one, it's a totally different story. Oh no, not prepared for that. And I went up to her and I told her I loved her. Went up to her a few times. We stayed there for a couple of hours. And I sectioned her a few times with the yay card and respiratory therapist. And I used the swab to wet her lips. Well, this is my last active service for this woman I love so much. And then I said to her, which was the hardest thing I had to ever say to anybody, it's okay to go. It's okay to go. She was unconscious, but she heard me. I said, you'll always be my brother, you'll always be my sister from another mister, and I'll always be your brother from another mother. And I love you forever. And then Jonathan, Kim, and I, we left just after that, and just a few minutes later, her sponsor, sent a text out to everybody that she had just passed. So, being with Merrick every day is I think of this woman every single day. I love her so much. I miss her so much, but she'll always be in our hearts. She's taught me so much. And thank you all for being here. And I think the next speaker is Susan.
My name is Susan. I was Maria's friend and we were roommates for, I think, the last 16 years, almost 17 years. So I will say she was my most successful relationship. Not good at writing speeches. Like when I was younger, I wanted to be a writer. So I just thought about it. I thought, what are 5 things I would want people to know about Maria? And I wrote them down. And the first one I wrote was that she loved to laugh and had a great laugh. And that's the truth. I remember for the last Christmas party at work, she wanted to be there and she couldn't. She said, I know it's so sad because I'm such a fun person. You're not going to have me for the rest of the time. She knew, she knew her power. Rosalyne, something you said was really true for all of us. She was my Maria. She was my best friend, but she was so many other people's best friend too. And she loved you so much. You made her laugh every day. So, the next thing I have written down is that she loved others by caring for them. And I have a story about that. I think one time we actually had a conversation and she was concerned that she wasn't loving enough, touchy-feely and like this. But the way that Maria loved people and the way that she loved the beings in her life was how she cared for us. And she joked once that when I was babysitting her dog, Faye, that I would give everything, I'd give Faye everything she needed. And no, correction, you'll give Faye exactly what she wants. Maria would give her what she needed. I remember one Christmas, she made it a point, she wanted to give everybody something that would really bring them joy. That was her goal. And that year she got me a little diamond painting kit of Freddie Mercury, who I had just driven her crazy about ever since Bohemian Rhapsody come out. But no, she was gonna give me what brought me joy, so then she had to hear about it for the next year while I worked on it, so God bless her. I used to swear a lot when I was like younger, and I don't do that anymore. But there were a couple of classic Marias that, and I think it's the Italian thing. I've never heard the expression really, but the fuck me. I mean, the way she would say it, fuck me. Like, that was just, yeah. I'll never forget that. And her extraordinarily exquisite use of the word meat. When it's used by somebody who speaks incredibly proper English, just I ain't gonna. It's like perfect. So that's something I always remember. Here's something I've written down. Looked normal, but surrounded by crazy people. I thought, why did she have me as a friend? Why did she love me? And then I looked at the car and there's Rosalyne and Jonathan and Kim and Marty. I'm thinking, okay, this woman is not normal. She is. Because she loves all of us. I have something written here. WWMD. There are people that we love in our lives. And then there are extraordinary human beings. And when we are lucky enough to be friends with one of these people, we are really blessed. I have never known somebody so spiritually clear about what is right and wrong and what is the next right step. I mean, it would always be any phone call, anybody. Do you need me to come over? I'll give you a ride to that hospital. I'll do this for you. I'm just always there and just I mean, it was extraordinary, I think, and it took years of practice for her to hone that down, that it was second nature. That whatever came out of her mouth, whatever action she took next, was based on spiritual principle and being of service. She was an extraordinary woman. The last thing I have written here, and I put in different order, and I actually put 6 of them, was the Italian use of the hand. I think she practiced and she got better. We didn't see that so much, but Ben and her mother were there. Let me tell you, it was like, wow. Never got that. That was Italian, right? It was Italian. They must be. Anyway, we never raised our voices. We never once yelled at each other. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say there were never some tense moments. I'm forever grateful that we stuck through them together as roommates, and that I got to be there for the last year of her life. It was a gift. It wasn't the Maria that we had known and loved. It wasn't the one who went out every night and did something and took her dog and just was go. It was a Maria that I got to spend a lot of time with her, watching old movies and TV and just talking. And I felt extraordinarily blessed to have that time with her. I'm so grateful you guys are all here. And so I'm going to pass this on to Lee. Thank you so much.
Hi. Can we take a deep breath for a second? It's like, I'm trying to stay in my body right now. And each of you, all of you, for being in service, for showing up, for this moment, joining together here and now to honor one of the most delightful, delicious, incredible human beings that was ever created and lived on this planet and in our presence. I want to thank you for your words, for the music, for the video presentation. What a gift to remember our beloved Maria. I've had the honor of being Maria's sponsor for the last 2 decades. But when we first met, Maria and I, 27.5 years ago, I truly thought she was a lesbian. It's such strong years. And I was shocked to find out that she wasn't gay. I was curious about her. Who is she? She was such an interesting person. She was mature, and she was intelligent, which I personally appreciated a lot. And she carried herself with an inner strength and a reserve and a thick Brooklyn accent. We became friends and learned how throughout this lifetime we had so much in common. It was like we had lived parallel lives. We had so much in common, it was crazy. We just didn't meet until we got into recovery. We hung out, we talked, and we shared our journeys. We became closer and closer. And then she would ask me to be her sponsor. What a gift. Of course I said yes. Maria's curiosity was an open door to our relationship. We went deep, right to the core. She would often say, "But I don't understand." And I would say, "But you do." Let's refocus on acceptance. Can you accept X, Y, and Z? Yeah, I can. Step by step, every day we talked, we checked in. We shared it all. Joys, successes, misses, and repairs, always in a loving space. Her lists. The judgments of perfection, all of it. Being a mom without giving birth, becoming a grandmother, having her mom move in with her different roommates, and then going to the theater, the celebrations, we shared it all. The day she got her diagnosis, she called, and I was with my mother. I told Maria that Mom was in the car, and she said, "Oh, that's okay." She said that she had 3 cancerous lesions in her liver. And my mom started talking to her, hands-free sentinel, and told her how she was my mom, a cancer survivor herself, and that it was worth the fight. Maria brought kindness out of my mother. My mother. And Maria did that. Through it all, we stood together. Maria knew that she was a spiritual seeker, and she had a gift of accepting the truths of this lifetime. The first moment of Maria's transition was magical. Maria just slipped out. She asked for help, and the help that she needed, and everyone stepped up. But she chose her exit point. It was a very quiet moment. Like, it was just she and I sitting there when I realized that she was no longer in her body. Everyone came back into the living room and we prayed. We experienced the essence of her soul in that room, the density of her love. And right then and there, her grandson said, "Where is that little guy? He's the one that's been talking. He doesn't know how to read or write." But he picked up a pen and he walked over to the wall and he wrote, "Mama." That's Maria. That's the veil. That's the unconscious connection that we all have. You know, her family, as her daughter shared so beautifully, called her mama. The unconditional love, that sharing the grace of each moment, that peace, that magic, that is Maria. Maria Rose DiAngelis. What a name. Well, Maria is Mother Mary, right? Rose is Rosa La Rosa, a carrying of the cross, and DiAngelis, the angels. So she is Mother Mary who carried the cross with the angels. Does that not fit to the essence of the person that we all know and love? You don't have to answer that, I know the answer. This is how she lived her life. This woman's generosity is beyond words, it's beyond human comprehension. Those of us who are blessed to have known that intimacy of kindness and love, that gifts abound now that she is free and soaring. What were those precious moments, the words that are sketched into our hearts, each of us, that we are forever changed because of not just knowing Maria Rose DiAngelis, but for sharing intimacy with her. Let's all take a breath and think of Maria. Please talk to her. She's here. And as you release that breath, listen to the answer. Listen to your heart. Thank you. I'm going to now read for you something from Maria. She wrote this. It was published in a newsletter when she was participating in the Cancer Survivors Group. Regardless of the name of a meeting I have been going to since I first got clean. At the end of the month, I will be celebrating 27 years. When I thought of writing this, it was the first thing that came to my mind. Regardless of anything that has happened during the time I have been clean, I have kept coming back. I have put one foot in front of the other and always remembered that the suggestions I was given when I first started coming to NA meetings. Get a sponsor, work the steps, look for the similarities, not the differences, be of service, and on and on. I've been through huge changes, losses, successes, deaths, illnesses, unexpected things, and things I have anticipated with anxiety that I have never actually happened. I have kept putting one foot in front of the other. I also have celebrated the milestones. By walking through each of these events, I learned that molehills don't have to be made into mountains. With the help of the fellowship, a God of my understanding, and so many tools that I have learned around here, I was able to walk through it all. When came the news so unexpected, so big, I wasn't quite sure how it would all pan out. For many years, I was an IV drug user. I got through AIDS crisis, even though I lost friends with whom I shared needles. When diagnosed with Hep C, I underwent 3 different types of treatments, and until finally the cure was found, and I was home free. Or so I thought. In December, I was diagnosed with liver cancer. I was told the good news is that it's a very common cancer. Therefore, there are treatments available, and I've started that journey these past several months. And I'm taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, and I am not doing it alone. I don't know where it is all going. I don't know if it's an end of life thing or if I spend years fighting to hold on to the wonderful life that NA has given me. Perhaps I will be cured, but because I have stayed as willing as I was when I entered the rooms, things are things. There are things I do not know. I do not know that never alone, never again isn't a slogan. It's my sponsor, and sponsees, and others in the program, and friends outside the room, picking me up and taking, this is, well, that's what it says, picking me up and taking me to doctor's appointments. They sit there and they take notes as the doctor advises status and next step. Yes, son, I hear you. They're there when I have to sit with an IV in my arm so medicine can be infused into me. They laugh at me when the tech can't get a vein, and under my breath we joke, let me just do it. I do not know how to really live in the moment. I always try, but with the help, it's open, I always try, but with the help of steps and the spiritual principles I have learned in the rooms, I am living in a moment now. I am not looking back with regrets as I did when I first arrived. I have nothing but wonderful memories of the years I have in recovery, and I am not living in tomorrow with fear about what might be. I am living each day as it comes. I acknowledge the absolutely amazing life I have and the person I will become because of NA. I do not know that regardless of the outcome, I have a God of my understanding. I do know, that regardless of the outcome of, I have a God of my understanding that will walk this path with me. I trust and believe that relationship has never been stronger than and is a wonderful feeling that brings a smile to my face as I write this.
We still have 30 minutes. If anyone would like to share, they may. And there's still plenty of food, so if anyone would like to come up and share, please do.
Hello, everybody, my name's Mary. Another New Yorker, and, yeah, Maria was a very, very special person, and she truly will be missed. Two stories I want to share with you. So Rosalyne was having an upcoming anniversary in December of what year, I don't quite recall. And said she wanted to go to Brooklyn to celebrate. And said to Maria, let's go. Hey, come on, Mary, let's go. So we all went, we shared a hotel room and carried on and went to Brooklyn to some meetings, and it was really a wonderful, wonderful adventure and experience that we got to share together. And the thing that I loved about Maria, so many things, but I was talking with Susan about it the other day, was her laugh. You know, as a fellow New Yorker, you know, the way we communicate is with a look. You know, you look to that person, they look at you, you crack up, nobody has to say anything. And that's what I felt I had with Maria. You know, there would just be times we'd be sitting at a meeting or at a convention or at the Unity Day or, you know, anywhere, or seeing what Roz was up to, you know, and we just give a look, you know. The other thing that I wanted to share was Maria's love for animals, you know. My last cat was named Budalit, and Budalit was getting older and she got sick, and it became to be her time. And as was shared here too, who do I talk to about these things? I called Maria. You know, and Maria said, what do you need? And I said, I'm gonna have to come to the house, would you come and be with me? And she did. She was on her way to work. It was in West Hollywood, she was at that office, I guess it was in 2 offices or something. She said, oh, I'm gonna be in West Hollywood that day, it's perfect. And having her there with me just meant the world. We didn't say much, you know, we just stood there together, we held space, you know, for the experience that needed to go on. And that was just a gift that she gave me that I'll never, ever, ever forget. You know, that she wanted to be of service, but it didn't have to be, you know, anything, you know, said or discussed. It just was understood. And those are the true gifts of true friendship, like I said. You know, we don't have to explain a lot, we don't have to talk a lot. You know, we just have that heart connection. And I'm so happy that I could be here today to hear all what you had to share, to see this beautiful video. That hair, can you talk about the hair? I mean, yeah. that she was such a beautiful person inside and out. And, you know, honestly, there's one other thing, the retreats, and Kenny said, when are we gonna get the retreat going again? And I think we should. So we'll hold that thought. But, Marie would do some workshops at the retreats, and she always put great thought and effort into what she was going to share and how she was going to present it. It was always so on point, and, you know, great little takeaways and handouts. You know, she was so organized like that, as I'm sure from her business life, you guys know so well. So anyway, from a fellow New Yorker, Maria, because that's how we say it in New York, we put an R at the end. Maria, you're always in my heart. Love, Mary.
You know, I know we also. Maybe 32 years. I remember the first day she came to work, I was in the facility. She always said she had a hard time catching up with me. She says, I'm gonna ask you so I can put a low tag on you. So Maria, they put a low tag on cars. She said, yeah, but I got one for you. Anyway, her and I, she was a globe to you know, she knew where to be. Anybody that was plugging out. So seeing all of you here, I think this is just a handful of a friendship, people she knew. And to be here tonight, to see all of you, such a woman. But her and I shared a poem a few years ago, occasionally mentioned. And it went something like this. Glad that I let my mind, that the sky is blue. I'm glad for the country life and the politics. After the sun, the rain, after the rain, the sun, till all that work together. God bless you, Maria. Rest in peace. Thank you.
It's crazy how it rained today, right? I don't know where. But everything everybody said is very, very true. That's my mom. I don't think there was ever a time when she wasn't there for us, or my children. It's just really, really miss my mom, and I think, you know, yes, we love you. We love you so much, and thank you for being in her life, Mom. Every day, yes, we think about you, every day. And I'll always have her in my heart and remember to always take it one day at a time. Thanks, guys.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jackie. And Maria is one of my really long old friends. I probably met Maria like way over 35, 36 years ago when I met her. It was like a little group of us, a little group, me and her and Sam Potter and Richard Boxer and and it was just a small of us, but it was only two girls. It was her and it was myself. And I got to be very close to Maria. She's like one of my best friends. And I know that I was sitting there and I was going like, I know that I'm her best friend, but everybody got up here and was her best friend. I said, no, she's my best friend. But Maria and I did a lot of service work together. We were partners in the first San Fernando Valley Convention, and we were on service there. And then many years went by, and then we started another meeting, Wednesday Night Wisdom, that is at Sherman Oaks, and we just always got along. Our spirits were always the same. And you know what, I miss her all the time. Every time I'm going down Victory, I look down one of those streets and I know that she lived there, I thank Narcotics Anonymous for giving me people like Maria and giving me 12 steps to live by so that I was a gift to her as well as she was a gift to me. I miss my old friend all the time, and I'm gonna sit down because I'm a crybaby. But I miss my old friend all the time. Thank you for letting me share. Is there anybody else who'd like to say anything? Okay, so if not, then so, I want to thank you again. And, there's beverages and not beverages, there's food and dessert in the back. And and there are to-go boxes, yes, there are to-go boxes that if you want to take a notch with you, take a notch with you. Whatever you want, have it. It was Joan and my pleasure to provide the food this evening. Thank you very much. These yellow lilies are Maria's favorite. If anybody's interested in them, I will gladly hand you a yellow lily and take with you. So I'm gonna go up on stage now. Thank you again for joining.
Sure. Arab just asked me to.
Ever be available to speak with him more on Melrose Reserve on the west side? Just trying to get women. All right, thank you.